happen as we get ready to start. And here we go. It is a rolling start. And we will watch what Shadow Chef is going to be seeing in his mirrors on the intermediates with Salamander right behind him. Here we go. Looks like everybody gets off to a clean start into the heavy braking zone. Not to be too late on the brakes. And it looks like Evolve goes a bit deep in the background, but everybody keeps it together. 3 wide back there. Salamander applying the pressure. Oh, but he's falling back now into the clutches of Enigma. Enigma gets a little squirrely. Looks like everybody is still, single file now as we go into the Mercedes-Benz arena. Keeping the power down. Now we're going to cut the half of the GP circuit so we can get over to the Nordschleife a bit quicker, as Evolved and Enigma are having quite the battle here. We'll ride on board with Enigma as he is trying to hold off Evolved. Evolved not giving him any chance, but now Enigma is able to make a move on Salamander into the right-hand corner, and that is Enigma up into P2, which is allowing Shadow Chef to just pull away. And it looks like we got Ecstasy now playing a game here, trying to get past Evolved. Now Evolved back up ahead of Ecstasy and Salamander and Enigma. Everybody single file. But Ecstasy applying the pressure as now we enter on to the Nordschleife. Everyone single file. And this is where it gets wild. Old Man Pip applying plenty of pressure to Ecstasy. Just going to kind of scroll back through the field. And Cornbread applying the pressure on Jack. This is not the place to pass. You're going to have to hope for someone to make some type of mistake as, Speedburner gets into the back of Cornbread a little bit, but no damage. All good. Go back on board with our leader and see how it's looking from his point of view. As Evolved and Ecstasy now battling it out. Go back on board with Evolved as he applies the pressure to Ecstasy. Exciting start so far. I wasn't expecting so many position changes, but we definitely have got them. As, a little bump from Old Man Pip. And look at this, Old Man Pip, a little tap, a double tap, and they both run wide into the grass. That's going to allow Papa through. And, they join semi-safely. Let's see where that ends up. That's Evolved in 6th, Plankton in 7th, Old Man Pip in 8th has fallen down. That did cause Evolved to lose a position to Papa. Shadow Chef is still in the lead and looking quite smooth up there. Coming around, it seems like things have settled down a little bit. But, it all pops off at any moment. You never know what you're going to get. As Papa is now right on the bumper of Ecstasy. And Ecstasy putting the pressure on. And it looks like Enigma is now under threat. Or putting Shadow Chef under threat. And Enigma making the pass. Getting past Shadow Chef. Taking the lead of the race. Incredible. See if we can see how he got past here. It just looks like he had a little more speed. He's able to carry it. Respectful driving around the outside. Not an easy thing to do. Well done, Enigma. I'm sure Shadow Chef is not too happy about that. But maybe they can now pull away because it seems like they have a good gap. While Salamander is under pressure from Ecstasy, Papa, and the rest of the field is all right there. Oh my goodness. I did not expect it to be this tight in lap 1. I figured we would have had a bit more of a gap, but if we go all the way back to P12, and it looks like we had an incident here. Let's see what happened between Jack and Speedburner. Can we tell what's going on? He goes up the inside. Oh, and there's contact. There's contact between Jack and Speedburner, but respectful driving. Jack backs out and lets Speedburner go ahead. Hate to see that contact, but still, they are not far off after that little incident. They are not far off, only 8 seconds off the lead. So even though they did have a slight incident, it hasn't really hurt them that much. They are still in this race. We're going to go back on board with our leaders. Enigma, feeling that pressure from Shadow Chef. And look at that spray. It has got to be hard to see. Let's see what it looks like on the Estacies on board here. As he comes in, trying to get on the brakes, just staring at that Chevy in front of him. And you know he wants to get by. And you look out the back, he's got a little bit of a gap to Papa, so he's got a little bit of breathing room as they enter in the carousel. This is tricky in the wet. Sal, ooh, they keep it going, and well done to get through that without any sliding. And again, just very, very tight. Very, very tight through here. Check on Old Man Pip, who did have that incident early on. Currently in P9, he's got Plankton behind him and Cornbread up ahead with Mr. Ormond in 7th. Very tight. Very tight indeed. Now the question is, are we going to see 2 laps on the inters, or are we going to see 3 laps on the inters? I hope to see some drivers changing it up a little bit, as it looks like Evolved is now under pressure by Mr. Ormond. Everybody on these intermediate tires trying to keep the cars pointed in the right direction, trying not to make contact with any of their fellow competitors, as now Cornbread is putting the pressure on Mr. Ormond. Can Cornbread get the move done? Doesn't look like it. And now Old Man Pip going for a move. No, he has to tuck back in, and Old Man Pip has all kinds of pressure. Plankton all over the back of him. Oh my goodness, this is tight, but you can see the track is starting to dry out. We're starting to see a dry line form, which we saw during qualifying. So can we see some drivers being brave? It really just depends. How confident are you that you are not going to get on the wet stuff? Let's go back up and check on Shadow Chef, who has gotten back past Enigma, and also we have Salamander. Oh, as Shadow Chef goes too deep in the mini carousel, but is able to keep it on track, and now has 3 cars ready to pounce as we're coming onto the straight for the end of lap 1. As Speedburner brings up the rear. And Salamander is pushing hard. I think he wants that position if he can get it. And Enigma, look at the power of that slipstream. They're bump drafting. They know this is not the place to fight. Oh, Enigma goes a little wide. He touches the grass. He's going for the move. We're getting a perfect view of it right here, but he cannot get by as Shadow Chef holds on under braking and is able to keep Enigma behind him. And they slow way, way up to get back onto the start-finish straight. And now we will have lap 1 completed. That was very tight as Enigma again going for it, pushing hard. He's going to try around the outside. Can he be the last of the late breakers? He gets on the anchors. He has the lead going into the apex, but no, Shadow Chef able to cut it back through, take the lead, and this is going to allow Salamander to get a bit of a run. Oh, but Salamander cannot quite take advantage. That was some brave, bold stuff by all drivers involved. I cannot believe it. I need to take a sip of water. That was a lot. Woo! That was a lap 1 if I've ever seen one. Now Shadow Chef goes a little deep. What's that going to do for Enigma? Again, he's now got the inside line. Shadow Chef trying to hang on around the outside. This will become the inside for this next turn, but Enigma currently in P1. Shadow Chef back into P1 with the inside. Now Salamander trying to take advantage, and he has got pressure from Ecstasy. Ecstasy now on the inside of Salamander. Takes P3 off Salamander's hands. Woo! Woo! Oh, I got one ready, Talon. Don't you worry, bud. When we go to break, as Ecstasy now in P3, things seem to have calmed down a little bit. Let's check back in on some of our drivers further back as Ecstasy gets a half-second penalty as they enter on to the Nordschleifer. Whew, Papa in P7, Cornbread 8, Pip 9. Very nice. Coming around. And it looks like things have calmed down. We'll check on Speedburner in the back, and he, unfortunately, is on the racing mediums, y'all. He went for the biggest gamble of them all. Can you believe it? He went ahead and put the required tires on, and now he's got to make the fuel last at least. I mean, the tires can do it, but can the fuel do it? He did refill his tank, so let's go Speedburner being bold out there. I love to see it. Let's go back ahead with our leaders now. Shadow Chef with almost a full second lead on Enigma. Ecstasy with that half a second penalty, and he runs a little wide. That is going to allow Salamander to take P3 off of his hands yet again. I've been thinking about going to a replay, but we just haven't had any time in the action to go to a replay, as now Mr. Ormond takes P4 off of Estasy's hands. Papa now gonna take P5. Papa's up, Evolve's up. Oh my goodness, Estasy is just falling down the order. This is terrible to see. Now falling down into P7 as Evolve tries to hang on around the outside. Can he keep it pinned as they go side by side? And there it is. Estasy from P3 to P7. Holy smokes. That is incredible. So now we have Salamander back in P3 with Mr. Ormond in P4, Papa P5, Evolve P6, Estasy 7, and Cornbread in P8. Woo! I tell you what, this has been a very exciting race, and I love to see the sportsmanship here. We've seen a little bit of contact, but those guilty of the contact have done the right thing and allowed the other driver to continue on. And it's been great to see. We've had several position changes for the lead and all the way up and down the field. It is going to be interesting. I'm going to go check in on our only racing tire driver, who's currently 32 seconds behind on the racing mediums. And that's not very far when you lose as much time as you lose in the pits here. Ooh, as he touches the wet stuff, but keeps it going. So we'll be checking back in on him occasionally. But so far, so good. Now we got Plankton, the last of the intermediate runners. And, I mean, being only 11 seconds off the lead, this field is tight. This field is tight like a tiger. Tell you what. Old Man Pip looking good. Trying to catch up to Cornbread. He is in the Renault, the RS1 or whatever it's called. Seems to be a good car around here. As now, are we seeing Plankton making a move on Skellington? I hit the wrong button. There we go. Plankton and Skellington trying to going side by side, wheel to wheel. They can't quite get a move done, and going side by side like that is just slowing them down. And it looks like Plankton does the smart thing, backs out of it. And yeah, those intermediate tires are getting worn out for sure. All right, it seems like things have calmed down for them for now. Cornbread, though, does look like he has Old Man Pip not too far behind. As Old Man Pip goes too deep into the wall. Oh, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt if I can hit the right buttons. Let's see if we can see that again. As Old Man Pip, oh, he's just all over the back of Cornbread. He gets those tires dirty, and now he's hopeless on the brakes. Nothing he can do. Into the barrier. That allows Jack Skellington through and Plankton through. And oh, you hate to see it from Old Man Pip, but that is the dangers out here. And now he is 19 seconds ahead of Speedburner. Shadow Chef still in P1. Enigma still in P2. Salamander still in P3. And Mr. Ormond P4. Papa P5. Looks like everybody's got a bit of breathing room, except for Papa, who now has evolved all over the back of him, as Ecstasy still has that half a second penalty that he will serve at the end of this lap. Let's see if Evolved here can make anything happen as he applies the pressure to Papa. This split 2 is producing some excellent racing, as Papa is all over the curbs trying to carry as much speed as possible, but Evolved is being relentless here, not giving Papa a chance to breathe at all, but there's nowhere to get by. Luckily they're both on the intermediate, so the wet line is actually to their benefit, and he is just, oh my goodness, the slipstream is definitely coming into effect here as they come into this long right-hander into a braking zone for the left. And Papa has a little bit of breathing room as they go into the mini carousel. And can Papa survive the straight, having Evolved in his mirrors like that, as he runs a little wide, and that is going to open the door for Evolved to get through. And it looks like it's going to open up the door for Ecstasy as well. But Ecstasy does have the penalty. Is that going to hurt him more, or is he going to be able to continue to carry speed and stay in the slipstream? He's close enough. How does that slipstream pay out, as Papa is well in Evolved slipstream and is pulling away, but it doesn't seem to be damaging Ecstasy all that much. He's still within a second, but this is a very long straight here, and I imagine we're going to see some drivers diving into the pits. As I hear Talon saying, box, 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 box. As Shadow Chef, Enigma, and does Salamander stay out? No, Salamander in the pits. Ormond in the pits. Evolved in the pits. Papa in the pits. Ecstasy in the pits. Cornbread in the pits. Plankton in the pits. Skellington in the pits. Pip in the pits. And you know who's going to look maybe like a genius? That's going to be our boy Hector here. If he comes out in first, that's going to... No, Shadow Chef is out of the pits. Enigma is out of the pits. Speedburner up to P4 from last to... No, yes. From last to P4. Wow. Unbelievable, as we have a yellow flag, and that's Enigma. What happened to Enigma as he comes out of the pits? That is the wrong driver. And yep, he just gets on the wet, tries to get on the power, and that is not going to work. Where does that put Enigma? Down to P4. That puts Speedburner up into P2. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a shakeup. What a shakeup. As all the drivers now, I'm going to pan through here. We got Shadow Chef on the mediums. Speedburner on the mediums. Salamander on the mediums. Enigma medium. Cornbread medium. Ecstasy on the softs. Ecstasy is going to have to pit again. Careful, y'all. It is still wet off the racing line. Making me nervous here. Evolved with a pit lane penalty on the mediums. That 3 second is brutal. That's going to cost him probably 2 positions. No, probably 3 positions if these drivers back here can keep it together. But no, Mr. Ormond also with a 3 second penalty on the mediums. Plankton mediums and Oldman Pip mediums. Incredible. Incredible. Enigma's going to be keen to get some positions back here. Whew. I'm not driving, but I'm sweating, I tell you what. As Ecstasy is applying the pressure on Cornbread. Ecstasy on the quicker tire compound. Really putting that pressure on Cornbread. Can he get a move done into one of these turns? As Cornbread gets a little squirrely. Coming up here, it's going to be hard to get through because he can't go off the racing line. If he goes off the racing line, he's just going to spin. So you got to hope that Cornbread makes a mistake with the pressure having ecstasy in his mirrors like that. Trying to scroll back through, it looks like we've got it spread out. Papa now into P10, applying the pressure to Mr. Ormond, which he should get by, whether it's on an overtake on track or with old man or Mr. Ormond serving the penalty as he almost goes into the back of him. It is tricky picking your braking zones. You've been so used to driving on the intermediate tires in the wet that now all your braking points are in a completely different spot. And Mr. Ormond applying the pressure. He would love to clear Skellington if he can, just to help cushion him a little bit when he has to serve the penalty. And Plankton is not far behind either. as Plankton goes off just a little bit, touches the wet stuff. That is allowing Mr. Ormond a little bit on Skellington as he has a slight error, but not able to get by. And luckily Plankton able to keep it pointed in the right direction as we come into this fast left-hander. Ooh, that made me nervous, Skellington getting on the curb like that, but he's able to keep it going. Oh, as Mr. Ormond does get a better drive out of the turn. These Porsches with the mid-engine definitely a little bit easier, and it looks like Evolved may have had an issue. Let's see if we can't see what happened here. Does he have an off? Because he's up ahead all by himself, and yes, he goes too deep, unfortunately, and luckily keeps it facing the right direction, and that allows everyone else to catch up, adding insult to injury with that 3-second penalty, and he's got a gaggle behind him. 4 cars, one with the same penalty that he has, but Mr. Ormond able to get ahead of Jack Skellington. Papa trying to fend off Plankton. Plankton has been putting the pressure on Papa since they got out of the pits. Can Mr. Ormond do anything here to get on Evolved? I do want to go check on our leaders, but I want them to spread out a little bit before I go away, because this pack right here, this battle for P7 has been very, very tight. But now it looks like they've spread out a little bit. We'll go on board with our leader, Shadow Chef, who's got a huge gap on Enigma. That is 11 seconds. It does look like Enigma able to get back past Speedburner, as Speedburner gets touched. Oh my goodness. Bye, Salamander. Let's take a look and see what happened there. Salamander applying the pressure to Speedburner. Nowhere to go. It looks like a bit of net code. And they're both on the brakes, and unfortunately that gets Speedburner spun around. You hate to see it. You probably need a proper replay from both of their views to really have a good idea, but that puts Speedburner down into P6. And that's going to hurt him quite a bit, but he does have Ecstasy and Cornbread in his sights. He's almost down to half a tank of fuel. So he's going to have to pit again for fuel, I would imagine. And they got a nice big gap from Evolve. So Shadow Chef running away with it. Salamander trying to catch up to Enigma. We got Speedburner trying to recover from that incident with Salamander, putting the pressure on Ecstasy. Ecstasy has a little bit of an off there, but able to keep the car pointed in the right direction. And relentless Speedburner going last, second, third, 6. He's been everywhere. Oh, as he runs wide. Oh, he's able to keep it pointed in the right direction. And that allows Ecstasy a little bit of breathing room as Cornbread goes off. And we'll take a look at that. What happened to Cornbread? Did he just carry too much speed? Oh, he gets on the curb. Oh, gets on the curb, and that allows them through Did that allow Speedburner through as well? No, Speedburner is now on the back of Cornbread, but SSC able to get through, providing plenty of action. Cornbread does have some damage there. That's going to hinder him a little bit, especially in the turns. Luckily, there's not much going on in the way of turns at the moment until that damage is able to get taken care of. As I am joined in the booth by Pyro. Hello, sir. How are you? Uh-huh. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Oh, so hold on. Say that again, Pyro. I had you muted. My apologies. Say what you said again.
I'm sorry. Yes, I checked Salamander's stream to see what happened with the incident, and Skellington, I believe, was ghosted when Sal's car went through him, and then he unghosted.
Like in the middle of it, right? It looked weird. It looked weird.
Because if you rewatch it later on, you can see like Sal's car was inside of
I believe it was Speedburner.
Yeah.
And yeah, that makes sense because we did watch the replay and it did look awkward. And Salamander isn't the type of driver who just punts somebody and keeps going. So yeah, I would sum that up to Netcode. Thank you for dropping in and giving us that tidbit of information, Pyro. That is great. Great info for us.
If there's anything else I see, I'll stop by as well.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Well, thanks for tuning in while you're out and about. Love to see how many people are watching, and not everybody's able to sit at home, but we appreciate you, Pyro, and of course, you're always welcome in here.
Thank you.
And thank you for letting me know I had him muted, y'all. It would have been like yesterday when I was just sitting there, sitting there talking to myself for a while. And it looks like things have spread out quite a bit. Speedburner is up into P4. Yeah, and you can see Speedburner seems to be lagging kind of all over the place a little bit there. So we got a little connectivity issues. But that track is definitely drying up. As the field is spread out, except for, again, the battle for P7 is proven to be quite the battle, as Papa has 3 cars just eager to get through. Hopefully he can... as Evolve sends it up the inside. That was a beautiful move there. I wouldn't mind watching that again. And Mr. Ormond goes through as well. We'll take a look here at Evolve going through. Just laid on the brakes into the chicane. Very nicely done. And it looks like Plankton is able to take the position back from Mr. Ormond. Papa trying to pull away. Indeed, Titanium, run, Papa, run. You got cars breathing down your neck. As we go in. Ooh, and Plankton now all over the back of Evolved. Can he make something happen? We'll go back to our more cinematic view here so we can see all the cars going in a row, keeping us entertained. Looking very, very nice here. The track is definitely dry. How are we doing on fuel? I'm going to go through starting with P1. Plenty of fuel there for Shadow Chef in P1 on the mediums. Enigma, pretty good on fuel. Salamander, about the same. Now these drivers on the softs are going to have to pit for medium, so Ecstasy, while he has plenty of fuel, is going to have to pit one more time. Speedburner on the mediums, and he's definitely going to have to pit for fuel. I imagine when he comes in, he'll slap some softs on. Cornbread must not have taken fuel when he pitted for the medium, so he's definitely going to have to pit, I would think, at the end of this lap for fuel. Papa looking pretty good on fuel. Mr. Ormond. Plankton also about the same. We'll go look on board with Old Man Pip on the mediums, and then Jack Skellington on the mediums as well. So variety, only one person on the softs, knowing they're going to have to pit again. We'll go back with Papa as, oh my goodness, what just happened? What just happened with Papa? That's not who, there we go. Coming down here to the fast left-hander. Oh, and he just runs wide. Oh my goodness, and can't get it slowed down into the barrier. That's damage, and that's 3 positions lost. Oh, you hate to see it. Can he catch back up with that pack? As now Evolve leads the train. The battle for 7 is not disappointing at all. They're just relentless here. It's got to be stressful having that many cars around you at all times. You don't get a moment to breathe, as everyone else is kind of spread out and able to relax a little bit. As Mr. Ormond making the move. Can he make the move stick as he goes around the outside? They're leaving each other space. Very respectable, but Evolved has the inside, and this is where you got to be brave on this little kink here, and then they're going to be in the heavy braking once they get through up the hill. Evolved able to stay on it, but now Mr. Ormond is in the slipstream. Unbelievable, unbelievable. And where is, oh, Plankton has slowed down a little bit as they continue to battle. Coming up, he's going to have to stick it around the outside. No, he can't do it. He thinks better, backs out. Coming in here on the brakes into the right-hander. We're coming up to the carousel. And this is where we've seen some drivers make some mistakes. If you end up running out wide, that's going to allow Mr. Ormonde to get through. And Evolved does it perfectly. Well done. A little wiggle for Mr. Ormond, allowing Plankton to get back up through. And we can see Papa back there trying to catch back up with these other drivers. Right, we got a little bit of breathing room now. I'm sure Evolved is appreciating that. Whew. Whew. This is a lot, y'all. We're only on lap 4 of 7. And it has been exciting, but it does look like Shadow Chef has completely run away. He's now 16 seconds ahead as he's already at the mini carousel, pushing it through. Enigma almost 5 seconds ahead of Salamander, just kind of running his own race. Salamander's well between Enigma and Ecstasy, not looking like any pressure is going to be put on him. And Ecstasy with a good gap to PHG Speedburner as he enters into the mini carousel. And Cornbread has now caught up to Speedburner. We now have a battle on our hands for P5. What's going to happen here as Cornbread in that screaming RX-7? Well, what's going to happen is Speedburner's going to run off the track. That's going to allow Cornbread through, but Cornbread is going to have to pit. Cornbread is going to have to pit for fuel. Let's ride on here with Speedburner, see what happens. A little bit too much apex. He washes out. Luckily keeps it pointed in the right direction. Gets out of the way of Cornbread. And unbelievable. Well done, but he's going to get that position back as he has a quarter of a tank. And Cornbread's fuel tank is flashing. So that's going to allow a few drivers to get through. Woo! Unbelievable. It is so hard around here. To do 7 laps with this many corners, to get through without making any mistakes is no easy feat. So it makes sense that a lot of these drivers are making some mistakes as we predicted. Cornbread and Speedburner go into the pits. What's Evolve going to do? Is Evolve going to stay out? Evolve's going to stay out, and that's going to allow him to take P5 off of Cornbread and Speedburner. That also allows Mr. Ormond through Plankton as well. Where is Papa? Papa goes into the pits. So we got Evolved in P5, Mr. Ormond in P6, and Plankton P7 as Old Man Pip comes through. Is he going to come out ahead of... Yes, and Skellington comes through, but it looks like Speedburner comes out. Cornbread having to take more fuel than Speedburner has allowed Speedburner to jump him in the pits and allow Skellington through as well, having to refuel all that fuel. But now Skellington all over the back of Speedburner. And Papa now coming out of the pits in P12. So we have a battle for 9th. Old Man Pip kind of in no man's land, and the battle for 5th has calmed down a little bit, but still within a second. Mr. Ormond not letting Evolved breathe 1 second. As they go through the chicane and begin the 5th time onto the Nordschleifer. Incredible. Little wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah, but he's okay. But again, Ormond just keeping the pressure on. Go back to Speedburner in 9th. Jack in 10th. And now Jack is under pressure from Cornbread. Cornbread is on the softs. Quicker tire. Full tank of gas. He is going to come through. Ooh, so much pressure. Applying it now. And not looking like he's going to be able to get by here. Speedburner pulling away from the 2. But can Mr. Ormond, Cornbread, apply the pressure and force Jack Skellington to make a mistake? Jack on the medium, slightly worn, less fuel, so his Corvette is going to be lighter. But, Cornbread just can't get through as he goes, and no, not looking like it's going to happen from Cornbread at the moment, as Jack now is starting to pull away ever so slightly from Skellington. Very good stuff. All right, we're going to go back up to see what's happening for that battle for 5th. Evolved still able to maintain a gap of 0.6 on Mr. Ormond. Very impressive. Very impressive. SSC NP4, nothing to see here. Salamander NP3, nothing to see. Enigma P2, and again with that commanding lead. Shadow Chef with a fastest lap of 8 minutes, 0.212. That is an incredible race lap on the mediums. S7R, he is representing, making that team look really good as we go back to that battle we had there in the rear of Cornbread and Plankton, giving us action all the way through. But can Cornbread get through? He's just not able to find a way by Skellington. It has to be frustrating to just be all over the back, knowing you are on the faster tire and the newer tire. But unfortunately, the mellow yellow Mazda just can't get by. But good, clean racing. I'm not seeing any push to pass, which is always good to see. As there we go, Cornbread making his move, and he gets through. Can he make it stick? And it looks like he does make it stick. Let's watch that again. On board here with Cornbread, just biding his time, being patient, waiting, hoping for an opportunity as Jack gets a little too much apex curb, washes out wide, has to lift. That allows him through, late on the brakes, gets it stopped, gets it turned. What an amazing overtake there, and now he's in clean air, and I think he's going to, he's going to start pulling. Next on his list is Speedburner, who overtook him in the pits. But he is a good 5 seconds off Speedburner. So now we'll go back up here It looks like the battle for 5th has calmed down a little bit as Evolved has pulled away, and no sign of Plankton in the back. How close is Old Man Pip to Plankton? Not close at all. Not close at all. So no major battles on track at the moment, as drivers are now focusing on, can they get their fuel to last? I don't think Salamander's going to be able to get that fuel tank all the way around another time. We're going to see him come into the pits, I imagine, for some softs, and also as much fuel as is needed. SSC looking a little bit better on fuel, but man, those softs are screaming. SSC's going to have to pit. He will take some fuel and put on the mediums, because don't forget, y'all, the mediums are required. And then we got Evolve now pulling away from Mr. Ormond, but is going to have to pit again for fuel. As will Mr. Ormond, as will Plankton, as will Old Man Pip. Speedburner, however, again, doing a completely different strategy from everybody else, will most likely be able to make it to the end without pitting again. So we should see him leapfrog a few people when they go into the pits to get their tires, as Cornbread now has shown how quick those softs are and pulled a 4-second gap on Skellington. However, can those softs make it to the end of lap 7? That is going to be tough. I don't know that the Mazda is that great on the old tires there. And we got Skellington now. Good gap from Papa. Not really under any pressure, but again, Skellington gonna have to pit for fuel. Papa on the softs, I don't think he's going to have to. As we see, Shadow Chef is now in the pits. Where's Enigma gonna be? Enigma gonna come into the pits as well. I imagine coming in for softs. I would think Shadow Chef and Enigma do the softs. Where's Jack gonna be? I mean, Jack Salamander. Salamander desperately needs fuel, so he's gonna have a longer pit stop just because of the need of fuel. And then we got SSC, who's gonna need to put on the mediums and get fuel as well. Shadow Chef is able to maintain his lead, as we now have Evolve coming up. Evolved is going to need to pit, and I imagine put softs on. Ooh, a little bit of a wiggle, but he's coming into the pit, so that's okay. Mr. Ormond now coming through. He is also going to hop in the pits. Plankton with the pressure from Speedburner, who we know does not need to pit. Where is Speedburner going to come out in relation to everybody else, as we also see Old Man Pip in the background? So we got Plankton pitting. We have Speedburner staying out. Where is Speedburner going to come out in relation to the others? Back up into P5. Is he going to clear Evolved? He does clear Evolved. Well done. Cornbread now out of the pits in P6 with Evolved just ahead. And it looks like we're going to have a battle on our hands, as Cornbread did not need to pit, was able to leapfrog a few people, and now he's got Evolved in his sights and is ready to go hunting. On those racing softs, he is going to have to make those last 2 laps, but he's got plenty of fuel as Evolved runs a little bit deep, feeling the pressure on those cold softs, trying to get them warmed up, because Cornbreads are already nice and warm. You like to see it. I'm going to kind of scroll through here and see if we have anybody else close to each other. Looks like everybody's spread out at this point, except for the battle for 6. This has been a great battle all the way through. You love to see it. And you can see there Mr. Ormond in the background, but now it seems like Evolved has got his tires warmed up and is pulling away a little bit from Cornbread. Speedburner well up the road, almost 6 seconds as they get onto the Nordschleifer. And you can hear the scream of the Mazda in the background. You always know when that Mazda's close to you because it sounds like a banshee screaming at you. And Mr. Ormond smoothly making his way through behind, all on racing soft tires. So they will be taking those to the end. Papa on the worn softs. I don't think Papa had to pit again either, so that allowed Papa up ahead of Plankton and Old Man Pip into P9 to get him well within the top 10 and not much pressure behind. Plankton on the softs. Old Man Pip off the softs, and Skellington also on the softs. So we'll go back to our lovely battle there for P6, which is now spread out quite a bit. We only have a lap and about a half to go. Everybody should be good on fuel unless we have a major incident and they end up just wearing out their tires or burning through their fuel quicker than they thought. We did see several drivers yesterday run out of fuel. So it is possible if you don't quite put enough, as Cornbread, just touches a toe to the gravel there, slowing him down a little bit, and that is going to allow Mr. Ormond to catch up to him now, pulling him in within a second as we ride on board here. Get that nice hood cam here as he pulls him in into the heavy braking zone, late on the brakes, allowing him to get much, much closer as Cornbread makes a mistake. Now they're drag racing wheel to wheel. He gets the move done. I want to see that again. Let's see here what happens to Cornbread. He just gets a little too much, and that allows Mr. Ormond through. Nothing he could do to defend. And now, again, the battle for P7 is proving to be a great one. Coming through here, snaking through. He's definitely going to feel the dirty air and the dirty tires. His tires are definitely more worn because he is on his second lap of those softs, whereas the other drivers around him, except for Papa, are on their out lap on the softs. So that has allowed them through. We'll go check in on our race leader, Shadow Chef, who has pulled an impressive 23 seconds, making it look easy, y'all. Making it look easy in the beautiful sky livery. Into the carousel. Flawless. Love to see it. P2, we do have Enigma pushing that Lexus, giving it all he's got, trying to catch up, but he just isn't able to. But he does have a nice gap to Salamander, who can't be seen in the rear. Salamander with a 17, almost 18-second gap on Ecstasy. Looking smooth, looking like he has that P3 locked in. Ecstasy on the mediums, on a slower tire here. He is going to have to deal with Speedburner here in the near future. Speedburner opted to do the mediums instead of the softs. Interesting. So Speedburner on the same tire. About 5 seconds behind and 5 seconds ahead of the two drivers around him. So we'll see if Evolved on those fresh softs can catch up to Speedburner by the end of the remaining lap and a quarter about. Trying to make something happen. Is Cornbread able to make his way up to Mr. Ormond after that? No, Cornbread with a 2.8 second gap to Mr. Ormond. He can see him, but he can't quite catch him, and you can already see those front tires are not looking great. That is definitely going to be a painful final lap in this Mazda, trying to get grip on the front wheels and trying not to understeer. See how Papa's doing in the McLaren. About the same when it comes to tire wear. Papa pushing it up to P9. It has been a roller coaster of a race for several of these drivers. Amazing to see. We haven't had nearly as many incidents as you would expect around here. A lot of them being self-inflicted. But most drivers able to keep it going in the right direction And we'll get off Papa before we curse him with my commentating, and take a look at Plankton, who is trying to catch Papa. He can see him up ahead, but unfortunately just isn't quite able to reel him in. But he does have fresher softs, so I would imagine that on this final lap coming up, he might be able to reel Papa in that battle for P9. Old Man Pip, 5 seconds off of Plankton, but a good 13 seconds ahead of Jack, and his tires are looking just fine. We'll go back up to P5 with Evolved, who has now put a 4-second gap on Mr. Ormond, which is quite impressive, showing off what those softs can do. Fresh softs on a dry track can be very, very quick around here as he comes across, and it's unbelievable that Mr. Shadow Chef is already on his final lap, 23 seconds ahead of Enigma. Shadow Chef again just making it look easy out there, effortless. This is split 2. This is a very competitive split, and he is showing his dominance right now as he goes purple. That is going to put him, if he can keep it purple, in a sub 8-minute lap. I guess he will have a lighter car and on soft tires, so I imagine that delta to continue to go up, and him, or come down, I mean, and him put in maybe into the, yeah, already a second up on his fastest lap, so he's going to get well into those 750s and look really good doing it. If we look at Enigma now, racing softs are looking good. Enigma's fastest lap in 8:02.6. That would have been on the medium, so we imagine on these softs, Enigma as well will improve, as he has now gone purple by 1.34 seconds. Salamander's fastest lap was an 8:06.276. Again, he is on the softs, and he is now 0.665 up on the fastest lap time overall, so that's going to put him in the 759s. S2C, whose fastest lap is an 8:06.9, is on the racing medium, so I wonder if he's going to be improving his time at all, or if he's going to be kind of just keeping it in the clear, keeping it out of the gravel. No, he does improve on the overall fastest lap as well. Evolved now with Mr. Ormond starting to catch back up to him. Impressive to see. He has lost a second now to Mr. Ormond, as we see him in the background trying to pull through. But they are well clear of Cornbread, going through the chicane and about to enter onto the Nordschleifer. Cornbread with, oh, here we go, y'all. Back at it again on the final lap. We're in for a treat. We got Speedburner putting the pressure all over the back as they come down the hill into these braking zones. We'll change our camera angle here as to not miss any of the action. Where is he going to find an opportunity to get through? This is not an easy place to overtake, as it looks like a tiny little nudge, but no harm. Allows Cornbread to get ahead a little bit more. Ooh, as he almost loses it there, getting on the power. Desperate to keep up with Cornbread, but the dirty air does affect the grip in these cars, so following through these corners this close does make it a little bit on the challenging side, as he is not improving his time, pushing as hard as he dare. I believe Speedburner has definitely had the most ups and downs of anybody in this race so far, as he has been up in front and he has been all the way in the back, taking a much different strategy approach. Clearly had thought it all through. Had he not had a few of those incidents, I think he would be much further ahead. Now applying the pressure, pushing hard, just making himself very present. Backing off a little bit. That's what I was trying to do. Couldn't remember what key it was. Just so you can see how close Speedburner is getting to the rear bumper of Cornbread. This is a lot of pressure. That's all he can see is this bright orange turbo livery, PHG 18 livery, just in his face. Not giving up an inch, and those softs are looking worn. Speedburner is on the mediums, and they have a lot more grip. As look at that, almost touching. Almost touching. This is incredible. Is Speedburner able to get by? Is there any hope at all? He's looking for that opportunity. Coming into a heavy braking zone. Is able to get the car slowed down. That is where we saw Cornbread get an overtake earlier. But Speedburner not able to do anything. We got another opportunity right here. Will he be brave on the brakes? No, he backs out. But Cornbread goes a little deep. That is allowing Speedburner. Oh, he wants to try it around the outside. There's just not enough space. Goes for the switchback. He gets a better exit. There's no room. He's going for it. He's going for it. Can he make it through? They are side by side, wheel to wheel. He's on the outside, but the outside's about to turn into the inside. Oh, and Cornbread, late on the brakes, is able to get it done round the outside. Unbelievable as we get a little bit of a shaky exit there. Let's take a look at this on board with Cornbread. He is brave on those brakes. Lets it happen. Speedburner has to back out. And then Speedburner runs off into the grass, and now he's going to have to try to fight yet again. Had to go for it. Good on Cornbread. That was an excellent defense. And now Speedburner is a speck in the background. We'll go back up with Evolved, see how he's doing, gaining on SSC. He's got 2.7 seconds between him and SSC. And look at that, Mr. Ormond in the back. I'm sure he is tired of seeing that Gulf liveried Porsche in and around him this entire race. As I think Shadow Chef is about to enter on to the final straight. Gonna dominate this race. I don't know that anybody else is going to be able to make any moves happen. Big gap there. Plankton trying to catch up to Papa. Big gap between Papa, Speedburner. Speedburner catching back up to Cornbread. Now just over a second as they come through here. We're going to stay on board here, but then I'm going to have to switch to Shadow Chef as, oh, Speedburner goes too deep. And all hopes are, oh, can he keep it together? Oh my goodness, that was so close. All right, we're going to switch on board with our race leader. We got a half a second penalty. I do want to see where Evolved is. Evolved applying the pressure within a second. He might be able to make something happen in the final laps. We will see as fuel is starting to run low. I'm going to go back on board here with the race leader, making it look easy. That is laps led, that is pole position, that is fastest lap of a 7:54.438, and that is a victory for Shadow Chef. Well done, as we see Enigma coming up. Quite the gap there. Enigma is going to cross the line in P2. Can he take fastest lap away as he is almost out of fuel? Gets a little squirrely. And across the line. No, but he is able to improve his time. Salamander now. Maybe Salamander can take away the fastest lap. No, he cannot. But that is P3. That is our podium, y'all, from Salamander. Now Evolved with SSC. Evolved is able to get by SSC. Can SSC get back by Evolved in the slipstream as they come up into the braking zone? SSC goes for it. He goes into the grass. There's not much room. They're going to go side by side. No. Evolved is able to stay ahead late on the brakes. Is he going to get through? No. SSC doing everything he can, but it's just not enough. I want to see that again. Are we going to be able to see it? As SSC, here he is, desperate to try, can't get through. And that he lets evolve through. Unbelievable. As Mr. Ormond comes through, Cornbread about to come through in P7. Solid race. Speedburner coming across. Shadow Chef still able to keep that fastest lap. Papa in P9. Plankton P10. Old Man Pip P11. And that leaves us with our good friend Jack Skellington bringing up the rear in a beautifully liveried Corvette with no fuel, just a sniff of fuel left there, just enough to get him across the line. Holy cow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Unbelievable. I mean, that was pole position, fastest lap, and the victory for our S7R Sector 7 Racing Shadow Chef. Take a look at these standings here. Oh my gosh. So we have Shadow Chef with the fastest lap, MP1, followed by Enigma, MP2. PHG Salamander rounds out the podium, MP3. Then we have Evolved P4, PHG SSC P5, PHG Mr. Ormond and P6, Cornbread in P7, PHG Speedburner, what a roller coaster of a race from Speedburner in P8, PHG Papa in P9, PHG Plankton P10, Old Man Pip 11th, and PHG Skellington in P12. Woo! Lordy. That was something else. My thoughts. That was a lot. That was a lot. GG's to all the drivers. Congrats to Shadow Chef. That was unbelievable. I need to take a break, y'all. I need to take a break. I'm going to step away for a second, and then don't go nowhere, because we do have another race for you coming right up. I'll be right back.